Hey everyone, it's Matt with Redline Studios in New York City, here with another Way Back Wednesday. Way Back Wednesdays are when I revisit past productions, pitch meetings, or post edit room events to use as teaching tools for young film and television professionals to gain knowledge from. Many of these videos will take a look at problems I encountered as a producer and how I dealt with them and how I put out potential fires. Today's Way Back Wednesday moment is taken from Rachel Marks. This Way Back Wednesday, we're looking at a super low budget indie I produced early in my career called Rachel Marks. I wasn't expecting an Oscar, I just wanted to learn, grow, and do whatever I could to help the director achieve his vision. And as a producer, sometimes your role is to do just that. Solve problems on the fly, and this film gave me a lot of those moments and opportunities. One scene in particular really sticks out in my mind, and I still remember it to this day as a good example of problem solving and practicality when being behind schedule on set. We were shooting an interrogation scene. The room was small, tight, close shots, sparse, with a lot of attention on the actors in the frame and not so much on the environment or the background. We filmed the solo female actress you see here first, and then we needed to get reverses over the shoulder shots of the detectives. And I remember we were really hard pressed for time, and the DP was kind of saying to the AD, we just don't have enough time to flip this camera around, flip all the lights around, and get the shots that we needed. And so they were asking me, the producer, for advice and possible solutions to how to go around this. So here's a tip for young filmmakers, and this might seem obvious. If you're going to shoot a scene with one camera, you want to shoot in one direction first, meaning you don't shoot dialogue, flip your camera around, then shoot more dialogue. You want to keep your camera facing one consistent direction while you shoot all of that coverage. And now, obviously, that is to save time. You're shooting one direction, your lights are facing one direction. It wouldn't make practical or logistical sense to flip-flop, change your lighting back and forth, especially if you're changing your lighting back to a scenario that you've already set up. That's just a waste of time and money and resources. So with this scene, we were almost completely out of time. So I came up with an idea and I suggested it to my DP and the director. I said to them, listen, this is a bare-walled room. Look at the room we're in. There's nothing on the walls, no pictures, no set decor. It was purposely designed to be sparse. So instead of flipping our camera, flipping our lights, and flipping our direction, we simply flipped our actors. So when you look at this scene, the wall behind our female actress is the very same wall behind the two detectives also interrogating her. We simply just took the actors and flipped them around in the room, and our camera and our lights never changed direction. With the wall being the same, all we had to do was some minor lighting tweaks, and then we just got the shots we needed without redoing an entire lighting and camera setup. There is one other thing that you have to consider when you do something like this, and that is the actor and talent eye lines. When you are shooting in a space, you have to remember that you might be shooting in a three-dimensional space, but you are representing and recreating that space on a two-dimensional plane via your camera, right? When you watch a television, unless you're watching it in 3D, it's on a two-dimensional plane. So what is an eye line? An eye line is when your camera is fixed on your talent, where should their eyes be to correctly and proportionately place the person off camera that they are looking at. Rarely in a film is an actor going to look right down the barrel of a camera lens. They're going to always look slightly off lens. It's just something that's been established as an industry standard unless they are breaking the fourth wall. What does that mean? That means they are, in fact, directly talking to the audience. You might see this in the film The Wolf of Wall Street, and you might see this in the film Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Those are kind of unique examples of when an actor is breaking that fourth wall. But for the most part, most films we watch will never do that. And so eye lines matter. This is also something that as more and more younger filmmakers are exposed to easy access to cameras and are experimenting and making films, I do see some of these things as a lost practice in film and television. And they do matter and they do exist for a reason. When you do not pay attention to eye lines or camera direction or spatial recognition of where actors are in 3D and then represented in the 2D plane, things just start to feel wrong and off. And it might not be completely obvious in something you're watching, but what's going to happen is the viewer's just going to absorb that change as something being wrong. And if you're not intentionally doing that as a director to make an audience member feel uncomfortable, you're going to be evoking an emotion out of them that at that time and place might not be what you're after. And so you do have to be aware and cognizant of these things. Remember, as I said, film exists on a two-dimensional plane, and so spatial awareness is key. If an actor looks in the wrong direction, it can break the illusion for the audience. Luckily, we had a great script supervisor on this film and a continuity person who kept everyone in check. Watching eye lines closely is just as important as framing or lighting, and it's something that can make or break a scene. Another thing I learned on this shoot is the value of simplicity. Sometimes, as filmmakers, we make our lives much harder than they need to be. You don't always need to move every piece of gear or completely restage a scene or overdress a scene with production design just to achieve something. Thinking creatively about the problem here, like flipping these actors instead of the camera, can save hours and a lot of energy and often a lot of money. What I love about resharing this story is how obvious the solution seems in hindsight. Once we did it, everyone said, "Why didn't we just do this from the start?" But that's part of filmmaking, learning to problem solve on the fly and then learning to problem solve and retaining that information for future shoots to make your life easier, better, and more efficient as you grow as an artist. I hope you enjoyed this Way Back Wednesday revisit of a project from our archives and found the information and advice helpful. If you have more questions about this specific shoot or any production you see featured on our website at www.redlinestudios.net, I encourage you to write us at insideredlinestudios@gmail.com.